We are ready to send it over to Studio 2A. So pleased to be joined by Tom Walbank and Roman Barten-Sherman. New album's called Searching the Desert for the Blues. Album release at EXO on Saturday. So without further ado, live in Studio 2A, Tom Walbank and Roman Barten-Sherman.
Here comes that long black train, stopping at my door again. Long black train, stopping at my door again. It's that same old train that took my two best friends. Engineer blows his whistle when he passed through my old hometown. Blows his whistle, passes through my old hometown. But every time it passed through, leave me with my head hanging down. Mr. Engineer, please let me ride your bike. Mr. Engineer, please don't be so unkind. Long black train, stopping through my home again. He said, I'm only a heartbreaker, you can never be my friend. Feel like a broke down engine, mama. Lord, ain't got no driving wheel. Lordy, Lordy, Lord. Feel like a broke down engine. Ain't got no driving wheel. Lord, you're real low down, mama. Now that's just the way I feel. Lordy, Lordy, Lord. Say, feel like a broken down engine, mama. Now ain't got no driver, no, Lord. Feel like a broken down engine. Ain't got no driver at all. Lord, I love my baby, 'cause she can do that Georgia crawl. Lord, Lord, Lord. Lord, been shooting craps and gambling. Said mama and I done got broke. Lord, shooting craps and gambling, mama and I done got broke. Lord, I pawned my pistol and I ain't got a place to go. Lord, I'm going to catch me a freight train. Lord, leaving this town and ride. Lordy, Lordy, Lord. Catch me a freight train. Now leave me this town and ride. Said, how can you go on, baby? Lord, with a broke down engine by your side. Lordy, Lordy, Lord. Saying, Lord, Lord, saying, Lord. Took my baby to the early morning train, and the blues came down like dark night showers of rain. Lord, I left her, Lord, I left her, now wringing her hands and crying. Told her she got a home just as long as I got mine. Lord, I got two women, Mama, you can't tell them apart. Now one of my bosom, one in my heart. Lord, one in my bosom now lives in Tennessee. Now one of my heart now don't give a living damn for me. Lord, I'm leaving. Now please don't break this rule. That's why I'm searching these deserts for the blues. 'Cause I'm going. Now your crying won't make me stay. Now the more you cry, honey, now the further I must get away. Lord, I'm going. Now catch the first old gal I see. Gonna beg her to take me, mama, see what she makes of me. Gonna ask my rider, can you set your trunk outdoors? Now I don't mean quit you, I got another place to go. Said I'm going, Lord, I'm going. Mama's searching these deserts now. That's why I'm walking my baby home anyhow. Lord, I'm going. Now searching these deserts now. That's why I'm walking my baby home anyhow.
This is Locals Only. I'm live in Studio 2A with Roman Barten-Sherman and Tom Walbank. Roman playing guitar and singing, Tom Walbank playing the harmonica. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure.
Yeah. So, Saturday, November 3rd, over at XO, celebrating the release of your collaborative album, Searching the Desert for the Blues. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about the album, but I want to step back in time. And I'm curious if either of you remember the first time you saw the other one play.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw Roman play was the 2008 Tucson Folk Festival. Is that correct? Is that what you played, 2008?
Yeah, something. Maybe like 2009.
2009?
Yeah, I think I was 8 at the time. So
I was working at the 17th Street guitar shop.
Yeah.
And with Marty Cool actually, and he kept on telling me about this kid from Bisbee who was like coming up and playing, and I should check him out. So I came down with harps in hand. Mm-hmm. We ended up busking behind La Cocina, or by the Tucson Museum of Art there.
Yeah.
So yeah, straight into high finance. This kid's gonna make me $1 million.
Yeah, there you go. Roman, what
child labors.
Yeah,
all about it.
What are your earliest memories of either seeing Tom play or playing with Tom, Roman?
Well, I very clearly remember the busking experience, but I'd seen him play a couple of times beforehand. But the specific detail I remember, which I find funny at the time, I think we had a conversation on the Fantastic Mr. Fox animated film, which I really liked at the time. So yeah, that was great. You know, it really was the beginning of a solid friendship, all based around animated
stop
films.
motion animation.
Yeah.
An appreciation of.
There you go. I mean, it's a pretty remarkable thing that when you think back, whether it was 2008, whether it was 2009, almost a decade of in some form or another, gigging together, collaborating in different iterations, and a pretty remarkable journey that your age sort of belies the amount of experience that you collectively have as collaborators. But what led you at this point in time to decide that you wanted to put this album together?
How did it break down? God, I can't remember.
Well, we've been playing together at Hotel Congress.
Sure.
I've been opening for him for a good number of years now, but we always do like a little set of a couple of songs between like our slots of playing, and that's always been like, you know, a great thing. But like we sort of reached a point where like, hey, we have enough collective material,
Right.
and there's also like some stuff that both of us were doing that the other of us wanted to, you know, play together on.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just like, you know, set a date for that and came up with a list of material and just like did it all in one recording. And looking back at it, it was like, you know, yeah, we got a lot of stuff done.
Happened very quickly as well.
Yeah.
I think we recorded the whole album 2 hours, 3 hours
I think it was like
with a lunch break.
Yeah, 4 hours with the lunch break.
4 hours with a lunch break. We'd over at Exploded View, Roman's parents' micro cinema on Tool.
Yeah.
Good room sound.
So, you know, given that you'd been playing together for a number of years, you know, dozens and dozens, if not, you know, hundreds of shared gigs at Congress where you'd have, you know, some material to mine together from week to week, how did you go about culling through, you know, all of that material to decide which songs you wanted to put to wax, figuratively?
I mean, there were some common songs that we loved, and various musicians who we wanted to explore the language of. Because me, it's funny. If you listen to my recordings, I'm playing like a lot of Delta themed stuff, but I'm trained as an East Coast Piedmont style harmonica player, and I've got interests in like country harmonica, Nashville harmonica, all kinds of different styles that don't necessarily fit in with what I like to do, or rhythm, or like Delta rhythm, hill country stuff. So I think it came pretty. We had a bunch of artists we wanted to explore: Booker White, Blind Willie McTell, Fred McDowell, Robert Belfour.
Yeah.
Who's just these it was having a conversation, you know what I mean? So, you know, and saying the right things.
Right.
Yeah, and also, like, the blues scene in Tucson is wonderful, but specifically for, like, both of us have an interest in, like, early turn of the century and, like, you know, field recordings. And, you know, there's not that many people to play that with. And just, like, immediately when we were going through some of this stuff, like, we knew about some of the shared material from the Congress shows, but, like, there was just a lot of, like, shared repertoire that we were interested in. It just sort of came naturally from there.
And, you know, as you're tackling songs for the first time, I'm curious if your process, to the extent that, you know, that there is a consistent process, do you talk about the songs first? Do you talk about, you know, the relationships that you have with them, or where you want to head with it, or you just start playing?
No, it's you learn how to play your instrument, and then you use your ears.
Yeah, Tom is such a great harp player that I can, like, literally just start playing anything and, like, give him the key. Half the time he doesn't even need to give me the key. He can just hear it, and he just starts playing, and, like, you know, most of the time, like, okay, that sounds great, next song. And sometimes I'm like, oh, what if you try this? And then it sounds great, and the next song. So it's a pretty seamless process.
Yeah.
But there were, like, there's a one track on the CD, like Aberdeen, Mississippi Blues, which is a Booker White song, and that session was, like, the first time me actually, like, singing the lyrics to that song. So I had my, like, phone out with the lyrics, and I was, like, learning the song. But, you know, it's just, like, spontaneous stuff like that, and that's really, you know, what the blues is about.
That was the first. I was, like, playing it over the iPhone, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's a really tricky bit. And, like, 2 seconds later, he's nailed it. It's open D, kind of beating up on the National vibe.
So, Tom, what is it that you enjoy about collaborating with Roman?
Well, it became very clear when I started listening. He started opening up for me, even at a very young age, that he was already on his path. And you can say that about very few musicians at that age. It's funny, Conor Gallagher's parents brought him to me at a very early age for slide lessons. And, like, after the first 5 minutes, I'm like, do you just want a cup of tea and like what you want to chat? Because you got it down already. I don't know what age she was then. But it's like, man, I can't teach you anything, you know. And listening to Roman, it's like it was clear even back then. He was like, he had a very clear idea of what stuff he liked. He knew how to play it, and it's just going with your bad self, you know.
Yeah.
You know. So that's, and he was playing a very pre-war kind of blues style that not many people play, but he was playing it with passion. A lot of people play it as a as it maybe an excuse to like, it's like shredding, you know. It's like and it's got no soul at all because they're not taking any chances. There's no dynamics at all.
Sure.
On the other hand, there's people who like treat it like a dusty museum piece, and it feels like a dusty museum piece, and it's like, but he was playing it with passion, you know what I mean? You know, you can put your own personality through the music.
Yeah. Roman, as you're singing some of these songs that, you know, they've been around for a long time. They're from a different world, and I'm really curious to hear, as you connect to this music and as you interpret it, translate it to your own voice, how do you find your space in the song? How do you find your foothold to be able to take something that's been around for 80 years, for 90 years, but turn it into something that's yours? What's your approach for that?
I mean, I think it really just all goes back to like the blues tradition, because like all of those people, when they were coming up with a song, it wasn't like distinctly theirs. It was, you know, a hodgepodge of ideas that they got from like all the other contemporary musicians at the time. And I just think like a lot of my interpretation of all this music just comes from listening to it a lot. And also I'm not the type of person who's like goes down to every specific detail, because like I want to, you know, do the song some justice, but I feel like just sort of letting the musical ideas that like I have in my head just out through it, and like not specifically trying to completely recreate the piece, but just like recreating it in the moment. And I think that's what allows me to make it feel like it's mine. It's in that way, yeah.
So if you want to hear more of this in person, Saturday, November 3rd, over at XO, 8 o'clock. You have any other guests that'll be joining you on Saturday night?
I'll be bringing, this year I started a school jug band, but I was able to find some like really incredible musicians around my same age, which is a pleasure to play with. Yeah. And they are also like interested in like old time music, so I'll have a couple of those on stage for, you know, a song. But apart from that, it'll just be me and Tom tonight. So
excellent. All right, well, we're going to get back into the music. Roman, Barten-Sherman, and Tom Walbank here on Locals Only.
Okay, let me quickly tune up. Do you want to do Swamp Cooler?
Yeah. Some people call it tuning. We call it community service.
We had to give you one slightly dissonant experience just to really cement in that authenticity.
Yeah.
That's what, we as Tom Walbank and Roman Barten-Sherman are about.
It shows our advanced musical evolution. We're like throwing in some atonal Thelonious Monk, S-H-I-T.
We'll have a whole 45-minute set of just playing two notes that are a half step apart from each other.
Yeah.
Just
We're avant-garde, and that's French for merde.
okay, that sounds better.
All right.
Thank you.
There we go.
Now if you see my baby Lord standing around, you better stop her right there. We're gonna shake 'em on down low. Must I holler? Must I shake 'em on? Now put your right foot forward, put your left foot too. Now mama, let's see what some of this shake 'em on down can do, Lord. Must I holler? Must I shake 'em on? house, you don't find me around. Better stop right there. We're gonna shake 'em on down low. Must I holler? Mama's in the kitchen and Papa's breaking bread. And if we don't start now, we gonna all be dead. If we don't start hollering. Don't stop hollering, Mama gonna shake 'em on. 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 Let's try that fabled song that I read the lyrics and learned during the recording session.
Aberdeen. Fit like.
Sober in Aberdeen, now on my way to New Orleans. I was over down in Aberdeen, now way to New Orleans. Aberdeen women told me, buy me gasoline. Now I send out to little women now I ain't never seen, I ain't never. Little women now I ain't never seen. Bring a poor boy low now up and down. Down in now Aberdeen, now with New Orleans on my mind. Now down in Aberdeen, now New Orleans on my mind. Aberdeen women, ooh, make me lose my mind. I'm leaving now. Don't care, have to rise up blind. I said I'm leaving now, I'm leaving. Can't have to rise up blind. Avenue women now drag a poor boy up and down.
You're tuned into Locals Only. My name's Matt. I'm live in Studio 2A with Roman, Barten-Sherman, and Tom Walbank. Gentlemen, thanks so much for coming down tonight.
Yeah, our pleasure. It's a blast, man.
So Saturday at XO, release show for the album Searching the Desert for the Blues. And primarily your interpretations of some classics, but one original on there as well. Is that right?
Yeah, Swamp Cooler Blues. Yes.
And I'm curious, as you were trying to figure out what you wanted to throw into the mix for the album, did you know you wanted to include an original from inception of it, or was that just a song you had fun, playing? And
I think we just started playing and it was rolling, so we kept it. We just like, oh, here's a song, it's happening, let's finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we were talking during the last break about the, in particular, Roman, what approach you take to when you're interpreting these songs, and how you find a way to make them your own. But one thing I'm curious about is, we talked about as well that you're now, a decade or so into doing this, and over that time, I feel like the way that you've been billed or perceived in the community has gone from like the kid who plays the blues to just somebody who plays the blues. And have you experienced, as you've gotten, as you've just grown in experience and chops and all of that, do you find that the repertoire that you're able to interpret has expanded, and that you've been able to tackle different kinds of challenges than you would have been able to 3 years ago, 5 years ago, certainly 10 years ago?
God, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I feel like my progression of musical growth has been sort of something counterintuitive, because as like others sort of like, as time keeps going on, they sort of like modernize in what they're doing. I've just gone like further and further and further backwards. Yeah. Like I started with like, like 50s blues, and I'm like at like 1900s like blues and jazz music at this point. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, honestly, there's just like, that's the reason that I love blues music, is just because it's like the deepest American genre, like arguably one of the deepest genres in the world, and there's just like so many different avenues to explore of it. And yeah, and I feel like Tom is someone who like agrees with that, because you can.
I was going to say what he said.
Yeah. You can spend lifetimes upon lifetimes just exploring all the different areas there are.
Sure.
All the threads that link them.
Yeah.
And then you see the threads that go around the world, joining up different countries.
Right.
Like in China, they've got instruments which sound like Blind Willie Johnson playing the blues, and they got like a one-string instrument in Japan called the ichigenkin, which sounds the same. It's the microtonal stuff that is the common link between a lot of roots music and just tapping it into your bloodstream and letting it out.
Yeah. So. And Roman, you just slightly changing topics. Not too long ago, you put out your first recording that couldn't really be classified as the blues, and I'm curious if that, if the album that you put out not too long ago that allowed you to explore a little bit of different avenue, do you feel like that it's something that going forward you're interested in exploring an even broader palette than just the tremendous variety and depths that you can explore within the blues itself? And if so, what journey do you see yourself going on?
Well, like sort of that album came from me like discovering like this world of, what is it called, like American primitive acoustic guitar, which just sort of represents like another continuation, but also like break from that blues paradigm. And I found that like super interesting to explore, because like it allowed me to just like take this knowledge that I've like gained and just put it in a different direction. But I mean, I feel like that's like the thing about this is that like blues has just sort of given me a way to like examine all other forms of music and just like make connections and look at it in a different way. And I hope to like keep exploring different genres and paradigms, but like I think there always will be something in my head that's connecting me back to this music.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And Tom, in the life's journey that you've had with this music, what keeps you exploring? What is it that you found is the thread that keeps you digging into this history?
Well, there's always a plateau where you're tired of your your own playing. You're tired of your own voice.
Sure.
And you're listening around, desperate to find a new artist of any kind of genre that's going to move you.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I first heard of Amy Winehouse. I'm like, okay, finally something real. And then I don't know. And recently I got into Sleep, an Electric Wizard. You know, the whole doom metal genre.
Right.
And it links complete. They're all tuned down to B, drop B, and that links in with my favorite Lightning Hopkins tune, which is called Moaning, and he's dropped all the way down to B. Because strings were so heavy and like back then, so he did drop
strings,
Black Diamond, Black Diamond strings. So it's like, I don't know, just like exploring textures, and you know, you drink soda when you're a kid, and then you drink whiskey, and then you specify, maybe I don't know. There's better metaphors, but you know, I'm far more eloquent with my instrument.
Well,
yeah.
I
music good.
Yeah.
like music good.
You know, I've been asked before, you know, by people who are interested, you know, in the 7 or plus years that I've been hosting the show, who have been my favorite people to interview, what have been my favorite performances. And Tom, I will say, you're always the first person who I mention as somebody who I could talk to you, I could have you on every week and feel like we'd never run out of things to talk about. So
thank you, man.
Even without your instrument, I find you quite
well, thank you very much.
Quite articulate. But you know, so we've got just another couple minutes before we get into our last set. I want to remind folks again that on Saturday, the release for Search in the Desert for the Blues over at XO. What do you guys like about playing that space?
It's run by two fantastic people, Miss Amy Smith and Doug Smith. Those who would know the Tucson music scene will remember Amy Root. And they've got a fantastic little coffee house and a fantastic listening room in the back. You know, it's I love playing in the bars. You know, you could do a Saturday night at Shays. You can't be at a shy little retiring wallflower. But it's nice also to have a place where people come specifically to listen to music. You know, I've heard. I've only been to a couple of shows there. I went to one of Howe's shows there, and one that sticks in my mind was the joint show with Gabriel Sullivan and Brian Lopez, and they took turns, and it was just a wonderful, special evening, and it gives you a chance to really kind of be carried up by the music and get lost in the music and go on a journey with the musician, because the audience there is passing the energy back to the performer, and the performer's giving it straight back, and it's like the divine accordion. Yes, it's very nice.
There you go. Well, you too can experience that this weekend. Saturday.
The divine accordion. Only this Saturday.
Only this Saturday.
Physically.
Yeah, exactly. Over at XO. And I want to thank you both again for coming down. It's really a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I'm lucky every week when I get to have these private concerts, but I feel especially lucky this week. So thank you to you both.
Thank you very much, man.
We've got time for a few more songs. So what are you going to ride home with tonight?
Do Kokomo?
Yeah.
This is our... still staying...
what David Hidalgo used to call the key of God.
Yeah, this is our version, our take on a great Fred McDowell classic.
Ooh. Shout out to Johnny Woods.
Shout out.
He's dead, he can't hear me, but he's... Anytime I can see Johnny Woods over the air, I can, and I will. Billy Bizor, there you go. Sanitary.
Lord, I walk in the rain till my feet got soaking wet until I find my baby, yeah. Can't stop walking, yeah. I said, coke and mold me, baby. Yeah, coke and mold me right. Coke and mold me right now, and I'll be back tomorrow night. I cry. Babe, don't you wanna go? To that same old place. Now, sweet home, coke and mold. I said, coke and mold me, baby. Now one last time. Now coke and mold your daddy now. But before he lose his mind, saying, babe, babe, don't you wanna go? I'm leaving this town, won't get well no more. If you don't wanna coke 'em on me now, I don't wanna coke 'em on you no more. I said now, babe, don't you wanna go? Back to that same old place, yeah.
just to let the people know, Johnny Woods was a Mississippi Hill Country harmonica player, and there's an album Fred McDowell does with him, which is just fantastic. Put it out on Fat Possum. I think it's called Mama Said We're Crazy. Go get it. He's throwing up gang signs at me.
Okay. Let's... You made me love you, Lord, you made me cry. Lord, you made me love you, Lord, you made me cry. Now you should remember you were born to die. Oh, don't want a woman who run around. You're a dirty mistreater now. I'm gonna set you down. I love you, baby, but I can't go and lie. Now you must remember, now you were born to die. Baby, I wanna show you your place, 'cause you can't go in now and lie to my face. And I love you, baby, but you must understand. Now you can't say you love me back and then not let me be your man. Cry. You made me love you, no, mama, you made me cry. Now you should remember, now you were born to die. I said, been pushing my luck. Seem like my luck wanna change. I said, pushing my luck. Seem like my luck wanna change. I said, my luck don't change, mama, sure can be arranged. know my babe. I know she don't know I'm here. I know my baby, she don't know I'm here. I said, if she do, I said, been pushing my luck. Seem like my luck wanna change. I said, been pushing my luck, yeah. Seems like my love wanna change, yeah, wanna. I said, been pushing my luck now, seem like my luck wanna change.
Roman Barten-Sherman and Tom Walbank on Locals Only. Have a great night, everybody. The Scratching Post is next.